Blessings to you guys. This
Blessings.
is Henry,
And I'm
and
Monique.
she's my wife,
And that
yo.
is my husband.
Man, I saw this on YouTube, and I was like, I watched a little bit of it. I said, man, there's a lot of people that will be happy to see this video, and also to enlighten a lot of people at the same time. That's one thing I love about Christianity. This is one thing that I love about Jesus Christ. He came and he brought deliverance. There's a lot of people going through a lot of things, and only Jesus Christ, that name, can set them free. My wife has not have not seen this video. Uh,
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't even seen the touch of it. But I do see the title. I met and worked with the devil and his demons. Wow.
so let's get into it.
I'm excited about it. We probably won't talk much because the video is already long, right?
Yeah.
But I'm excited to watch this. I believe that if she want to expose the dark kingdom, she's a hero.
At 8 years, Erica Mukisa was introduced to witchcraft by her grandmother, and for 18 years, she served Lucifer. And today, she's going to give us a life testimony of how she broke free from those dark forces. And also, she'll explain to us how to protect ourselves from dark forces. Welcome to today's episode of Candid with Yvonne. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. I know you're not Kenyan, so which part of Uganda do you come from?
I'm from Uganda, Ginger.
Ginger.
Yes.
How was life growing up?
Life growing up was good for me up to a certain point when I started now experiencing spiritual attacks. But I grew up in a Christian family.
Right.
My dad and mom were born again. The only thing I remember, most of the things I remember about childhood is my dad loved my mom so much. So they really took good care of us until when we started now visiting our relatives. Yeah, that's when I started getting a glimpse of the other side of life, you know. That's when I started now realizing that life is spiritual.
Right.
My grandmother, the mother to my dad, was a high-level sorcerer. And that was her way of living. She thought that was the family way of surviving because she was making money out of it. She would get people from different circles of life, politicians, musicians, businessmen, consulting with her, and all that would bring money to the family. So she started now controlling the community because of her powers and influence. And to her, that was life. That was a way of living because she grew up seeing our great-grandparents practicing sorcery, and she also had to buy some powers and to add to what we had in the family. Yeah, so that was her way of living.
When you're saying controlling
the community.
Area, what do you mean?
I think, I don't know how, if here in Kenya people have heard of rainmakers, like people who, like when somebody is going to have a concert, there are some people they have to consult so that on that day it doesn't rain. So my grandmother was that kind of person who...
Oh, wow. Because Jesus Christ even called some people in the scripture, I think Pharisees or Sadducees, he said, you can predict rain, but you cannot predict that he is the Son of God, something like that. Sorcerers, all these people, they really got some power out there. And a lot of pastors are just representing this witches and wizard in the altar. I love what she said. She said how the grandmother connected with the musicians and politicians, like all these prominent people. And this is deep.
What interested me when as I was listening is that her grandmother got her into this, but not her
Yes.
mother.
Yes.
Ain't that
Yeah,
weird?
that's so crazy.
That's kind of weird to think about.
Yeah, and a lot of time the grandparents at that time, I believe that sometime like this time that she was talking about, some of them will think, "Oh, this is something good," you know. But I mean, it's crazy, man.
Wow. I'm still shocked that her mama didn't teach her. Her grandmother did.
I know.
You know, I've
People
heard
would
sometimes that it skips generations.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have heard of that.
consult because if they were going to stage, let's say, a show in our area and she has not been consulted, that day it would rain. So people used to take sacrifices to her. They used to take money, businesses. If a person wanted to have influence in that area, they had to be in good terms with her. Yeah.
Well, pastor.
So for her, that was the way of living that she knew. And being her only granddaughter, she wanted me to inherit after her. So my dad rebelled.
So you see that she thought she was doing her good. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah, she thought she's doing her good, but not knowing that she's really not doing her good.
And so I just figured out it's not coming from her mom's side; it's coming from her father's side.
Yeah.
Because she was the only daughter,
Yeah.
granddaughter,
And her that's what she's
daughter.
about to say that her father
Mm-hmm.
said no.
Against my grandmother when he was about 18 because he got saved that time. And according to my grandmother, my dad was like a prodigal son because he rejected the family witchcraft. Now, she knew very well that my father had an idea of what she was involving herself into, and he never wanted me to be part of it. So because I had to visit her during holidays, she started the process of initiating me from when I was young. So the time I got to know that my grandmother is initiating me into her witchcraft is when she took me to a graveyard. And on that graveyard, she introduced me to the ancestral spirits. Like she started naming the lineage. I'm so and so, daughter of so and so, you know. So I brought my granddaughter so that when I die, you work with her, just like you've worked with me.
How old were you at this time?
That time I was 8. So now, that's when it dawned that, hey, grandmother is deep, because I was hearing voices from the grave. And it was at a point where I could not do anything. I was now helpless because she had already been initiating me. So now this opened up my life to astral projection.
What does that mean?
It means a person getting out of their body and being sent for missions, because we are spirit beings in as much as we are in our bodies. So I started now getting those out of body experiences, especially at night. And as a child, it opened my life up to fear. I was always scared of everything. And it started now affecting my performance, because I used to perform very well in class. But now, because of that, I started falling sick all the time. I was very frightened of everything. Then my habits also in class changed to a point that even the teachers were scared of disciplining me. Why? Is because if they punished me in case I did something wrong, I would attack them at night.
Oh Lord, would they know it's you?
They would see me and they think they are dreaming. Like, for example, I hit a teacher at night. She beat me in class. I beat her in her sleep. She woke up, the eye was swollen. And, you know, there's no way you can explain to another teacher that my eye is swollen because of my student. They'll say, you have something against that student.
Right.
Yeah, so it happened like that. So now, because now teachers were afraid of disciplining me, I was experiencing different, changes in my body. I was afraid.
Man, have you had something like that?
I heard of astral projection, but not no kid doing it and beating somebody up.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I had that a lot in growing up. You
Really?
know, yeah, a lot, a lot. I even have a friend that time. You know, she her older brother stays in Japan and forced to her over the phone, and she in the night in the spirit went to Japan and caused him problem that made him to be deported back to Nigeria. She told him, I will make sure that they deport you. In the night you went in the spirit and caused the problem, they deported his brother.
Wow. See, that's why it's good to stay in prayer.
Yes.
I was afraid of things. I would just be in a room and start screaming, and my parents come and I'm telling them some things I was able to see, and they don't understand it, because many Christians don't understand that life, actually not only Christians, but people don't understand that life is spiritual.
Yeah.
So my mom started counseling me. They didn't know much of spiritual warfare by then. Yeah, so until...
That's what we have made several videos about that, how the Christians don't know about the spiritual side,
They
but
don't.
witches do.
They
They teach their children, what, she said 8?
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. Christians don't know,
Yeah.
but all these witches or sorcerers, they know.
And they're ready to train an 8-year-old when our Christian people can't teach our children about Christ Jesus and the spiritual side of Christ Jesus and spiritual warfare, at such a young age. And we need to do that. We need to tell these young kids, hey, it's Satan out there that's trying to destroy us and our family and trying to destroy you. You need to pray, children,
Yeah, and mostly,
warfare prayer.
yeah, and mostly this warfare. You see what she was saying about people, like if you hurt her, you see it in your dream. People need to pay attention to their dreams. Ask your children what are they dreaming. These demons can possess them, and they will see it through dreams. Spiritual warfare is so important to know. If you don't believe there is spirits out there, you need God.
Right.
I was 11. I started doing things that are beyond my age. For example, going to schools and asking for, I went to a certain school and I spoke to the headmistress and I requested her to allow me join the school without my parents. And that's the school I had been wanting to go to.
At 11?
Yes. So when I convinced her, she requested me to invite my parents to the school, Victoria Nile Primary School, and then I joined. Yeah, but people were wondering the things I was doing. They were not for a child. It got to a point where I started now becoming a threat to my grandmother, because she initiated me, but I started now becoming stronger than her. Yeah, and even her mother had initiated her, and at some point she became stronger, and they ended up having a fight, and her mother died in the process.
So you would say she's the one who killed them?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
So she saw me as a threat. Now she's the one who initiated me, and now she had turned me into her enemy. So my life became worse.
Is this not telling people something? Satan will give you anything, but still...
It'll be somebody greater.
I know, but still will try to hurt you.
Yeah. Still try to hurt you. That's how he is. He because he don't have no love. There's no love in the kingdom of Satan.
Everything is hate.
And competition.
Because I was sickly until when that time when I joined that school, I went for holidays at my auntie's place. My dad has a sister. My auntie is an influential person because she's in the medical sector, and she's also into sorcery. It's just recently that she's beginning to realize that these things they are useless. So she's also trying to come out. She's in the process. But she was working for reproductive health. Yeah, so she was working for the enemy, but in the medical sector. And they also wanted me to work and serve in the kingdom of darkness, because that's the way the family was surviving. I was supposed to she wanted to connect me with some big organization so that we promote a certain agenda. I think maybe because this is a public platform, but something to do with homosexuality, LGBT, because that has been in their plan for a long time. So, and my aunt was...
Wow. What else?
I know it.
What else do people need to hear to believe this demonic agenda? Wow, this has been the agenda for a long time.
That's what she said. She said it too.
And whenever we call Obama and there are members, people get upset. But this is the agenda.
Was looking at me. She wanted me to study, and then she would connect me because she had the connections. So now she invited me to spend the first term holidays. I was in my primary 7 at her place. And when I visited her, she introduced me to a world I had never been in, because coming from a Christian family, there are some values that you have at home, some movies you won't watch, some music you won't listen to, some places you won't go. Yeah. So my auntie now introduced me to partying. She introduced me to wines and alcohol, because she had everything in her house. She introduced me to that life of partying. And to me, as a youth, that was what I needed, because I had been stressed out through my childhood because of witchcraft. So now I'm going to my auntie's place, and there is everything that a youth feels like
would be excited about.
Yeah, so she would tell me, if you want your parents to allow you come visit me, don't tell them what we do when you come here. And I kept it a secret until when my little brother joined us, and he would say, Dad said that music is bad. Dad said drinking alcohol is bad. And I would look at him like a burden, he's coming to tell on me. Yeah, so my aunt introduced me to that life, and that's how she introduced me to the secular artists in our country. For me, I thought that was an opportunity, because these are people we would be watching on TV, and then radio, you listen to their music. Yeah, so when my aunt introduced me to that life, I felt it was an opportunity for me to shine, because I also loved music. Yeah, but I didn't know that behind secular music, the enemy is targeting people's souls. Yeah, so, and I was also by then among the target. Yeah, so
when you were introduced to this secular artist, did you meet him, or did you?
The first time I met with his brother, and then there are some other friends of theirs. But me, because I loved this musician, I loved his music, by then he was trending. Yeah, I longed to one day see him, until when we left my auntie's place, we went back home. I learned that he had a concert, and the venue was just next to our home. Actually, we documented the places. We were showing people the distance. Yeah, so before they would stage any concert, they would move around advertising, and that would attract people to run towards their convoy to the venue. And I was among the people that were attracted to run with my little brother. It was against my parents' will, because they would always tell us not to follow strangers. But because people were running after the convoy, we were also tempted too. But we got to a place called St. Jude, and at that place, at that particular spot, is where I met that musician and his brother with their group. They had like 3 vehicles parked, and people were fighting to see him, because after he sang, he sat in his vehicle, and people were just, the crowd was, gathering. And I managed to pull through the crowd. I wanted to see the musician and go back home, because I knew there was no way my parents are going to allow me to go to the concert. And what made it easier for me is I knew the brother we had met through my auntie. So in the process of excitement, I felt, like I used to astral project. I would get out of my body and come back into my body. This time, the experience was different. I just felt myself getting out of me, but I did not know how to explain, because I was feeling like now I'm getting into a trap.
Oh.
Yes, and I was holding my brother's hand, like, so, like when you're scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to make matters worse, we were pushed, as the crowd is struggling.
Yeah.
And I go to the car. Getting to the car, instead of seeing this musician that I had gone to see, I was seeing myself inside the car with the musician. And then I'm standing out here, I'm looking at myself and my brother, and I'm wondering what's happening to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I was still in that situation of wondering, this musician gets out through the open roof, and he tells me to enter the car with my brother. And my brother is holding my hand. He's like, no, don't. You don't have to enter this man's car. We don't know him. Daddy said don't enter a stranger's car.
Mm-hmm.
But because now my life is in bondage, everything they tell me to do, I do. Yeah, so from there we were struggling. We had a caretaker, someone who was taking care of us. She came, but even if she came for my body, my soul had already been caged. To a point that when we went home, physically, I fainted, but my soul was understanding everything, because we even passed by home. We went to Lake Victoria with this musician. Now, him physically, the first initiation was with my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Then later, I started now working with them, knowing what we were doing, because what the enemy targets in a person is the soul, because the soul...
Wow, this ocean. That's why whenever we explain some things concerning water spirit, a lot of people don't still understand those things. The sacrifices that they made in these oceans, in the spirit, and the night is so crazy. It's just
You know what? Why I think people get confused off of it when people say water spirit,
yeah,
because especially in America,
yeah,
it's Americans usually the one
that questions it.
that questions it,
Yeah,
because we were so caught up and raised through Hollywood movies or cartoons that all the demons, or which I would say aliens, came from space.
yeah,
And so we're trained to know and brainwashed to think that, okay, it came from space. But in actuality, we all need to understand that, hell is in the center of the earth.
yeah.
So, they're going to use the water to go through portals,
Yeah.
And I think that's why.
Yeah, I believe that's why, and people just need to wake up. The same way the measure the witchcraft or the spirits in Africa, the measure in America, the measure in China, the measure in Australia, the whole place is just the same. It's only when people really listen to the reality, they can get it. Like what you just said, the Americans focus on movies, Hollywood. They brainwash their mind not to believe things like this.
It has the mind, the emotions,
Yeah.
the will, the intellect is in this. Everything we do comes from within us.
Yes.
Yeah, so now that's how we went to Lake Victoria. We went through the golf course. I've tried to document some of these things. Yeah, so we went through the golf course, and we went to a certain island on that River Nile. Yeah, and around that place is they show where John Speak stood and discovered. Is it River Nile or Lake Victoria? Something like yeah. So that is the place where we went.
So what happened when you got there?
When we got there, to my surprise, I thought maybe what I had seen was enough, but I didn't know that I was now going deeper. You know, when we read the Bible, we read about Satan, we read about God, people just take things lightly. Yeah, sometimes when you're reading the fall of man, you're reading about a snake talking to a woman and things like that. You're like, maybe these are just stories.
Yeah, that happened.
Yes, yeah, maybe they just want to entertain us. Sometimes, you know, like in Sunday school, those drawings, I never took those things seriously until now when we go to that place.
Yeah.
And I saw this musician performing rituals on that river Nile, and then he started enchanting, and I saw the waters giving way, and in the process of the water giving way, something came from under the water.
Is this something right there?
Yeah, look at
Yeah, I've
this.
been seeing it. Something is right there.
Wow.
Up under the water.
This is deep.
Yeah, she's doing great.
Later, I realized it was fish. The size of that fish, I could say it swallows like about 15 people.
Whoa.
That's the size, yeah. But that water, even when I went to document, I think I'll show you some of the footage. But when I went to document, you would see that in that particular place, the water flows differently. It's like
You do.
there is a hole right there. It's like there is a door.
That no one can explain
Yes.
what happened.
Even the
Like a
tour
door.
guides, when they are explaining, they say, we don't understand.
That's so
Because
creepy.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, is that like the doorway to, to wherever they need to go to?
Man.
Yeah. Wow.
What happened here, because the way it flows around this place is different. Yeah, so now this musician entered with me, and I found myself in a new world. Like I found myself in front of Satan.
Whoa.
I found now myself in a world. It's a world, a different world altogether, but full of like different activities. Everyone is busy. I was seeing demons now for the first time in real life.
How would you know these are demons if you saw them?
By the way they look, because they were just pale, like I would describe maybe this color, yes. And then like they are so primitive. You know, I can describe demons and fallen angels because they are in ranks. Now the demons are like the servants, the slaves. Now when they see a human being, it's like they all want to come and touch and see you. And me, by then I'm scared, I'm screaming for my life. They are ugly beings. Yeah, and then the people there, everyone is minding their business. Once you've been set up, you're on your own. So if you rebel, you just have to do whatever you're instructed to do.
Yeah, because first of all, you're scared.
Yes. If you rebel, they can kill you because now they're in control. Because the Bible says that Satan came to steal, kill, and to destroy. Yeah, so now I was encountering.
Isn't it so easy to understand when people sell their souls to Illuminati? You see them, it's so hard for them to rebel. You know, it's so hard for them to just come out and confess or denounce them, you know.
Yeah, it's not easy getting
It's
out of
not.
it. Yeah.
Things that I didn't have any idea about. And I know many people have no idea that life is spiritual. That's now when I was seeing now. I did not see everything on that same day, but the day I arrived, I saw we were entering like you're entering a compound, but there are gates. And these gates are in form of rocks. And even when I had recently, when I went to document, the guys were telling us that down below there are rocks. So it was connecting sense to what I saw. So the 7 gates, but in form of rocks, opening.
Yes, I've been learning that myself. Like if you are in a country somewhere or you in a place full of rocks, you don't even know those could be doors, but we wouldn't know because they look like regular rocks to us. But they opening rocks and I'm like, wow. So the whole time it's a door, but we wouldn't know.
Yeah, like even this Afarat river that dried up. You know, like stuff that you see, the tunnels, the blocks, the like, you be like, what is it? Like,
I know.
you know, man, this world is spiritual for
Yes,
real.
it is.
Woo.
The underground world is just like, I know that we all know that, you know, hell is in the center of the earth, but we forget about the tunnels that lead there.
Yes.
It's another world.
Connections.
Like, yeah, we just know this as, okay, we are living our everyday. We see New York, we see Alabama, but we don't know that there's also an underworld that humans are living there, demons are living there, and they're all coexisting together for some reason.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And then now I find myself in a place that is like a hole, and in front of me I'm seeing a being that hates any form of human being. Like, just because you are a human being created in God's image is enough for Satan to hate you. You don't have to do anything. This is Satan, though? You just know, because life is spiritual.
I was telling our son that, you know, I said, because he was wondering, because he was watching that video where in the was it the Nile River that people were saying that they captured a demon with chains.
Yeah.
And he was like, why they are so mad? I said they hate us humans.
Yes, they do.
They're jealous of us.
They do.
They want to destroy us because of it.
Yes, and even the scripture that she quoted, Satan came to kill, to steal, kill, and to destroy. The hatred that Satan has towards you and I is just unbelievable. And then coupled with you a believer, you know, you love Jesus Christ, it will double more. So that's why the warfare will be so intense. The warfare will be so strong. But we need to keep on fighting and standing.
Because it's too late for them. So now they just want to get more people.
Yeah.
They're already doomed, so they want us to be doomed with them.
Yeah.
You just know him, just by looking at him, the hatred, the amount of hatred in the eyes, the amount of fear that you have at that point. And then to make matters worse, I was seeing him drinking blood and eating human flesh. So that's when I knew that, you see, these fallen angels, God is no longer providing food for them. So they are farming human beings. That's why you see accidents. There's so much happening and demand for blood in their kingdom. Did Lucifer?
Wow. This blood, man.
Okay, so let me get this straight, because I really couldn't hear her straight. Okay. She was saying that the demons can't really eat, so they can eat human blood because God took that away from them. Yeah, that's why it's a lot. That's why as Christians we should be in disagreement with abortion. Yeah. And people think it's just like, oh no, it's because they're feeding these demons are feeding themselves with aborted babies. They're killing people because of they want to feed off of it. You know, these evil elites are drinking blood to stay younger. Yeah. You know, it's just all very disgusting.
He's making a lot of sense. He's making a lot of sense. Like you ask yourself, why are they really these leaders, this elite, these people? Why are they so into eating human flesh? Because they are not human. These people out here, they are not human.
Yeah, that's why they're trying to put it in our fast food restaurants as well. Now it's making sense. Whew, better pray where you eating at nowadays.
Yep. You know, it's good to any food that is in front of you, you must pray over it.
That's true.
If I talked to you that time you went there,
the first way of welcoming me was a huge laughter, like someone mocking you, you know? Yes. And there I knew that there was nothing I could do, because I was crying, Mommy, Daddy, and he was telling me that not even your government can set you free, because I control the governments. I control the banks, I control the world. So where are you going to report me? So you think by calling your mother can come and do anything here? And I didn't know that in Zechariah 9:11, God had paved a way for me through the blood of Jesus. I had no idea that through prayer I could get delivered. That's why it's important for parents to teach their children how to pray and how to call upon the name Jesus, because if I knew that, instead of wasting my time calling them, I would have tried to call the name Jesus, but I had no idea. I was used to calling mommy for everything.
Of course.
Yeah, so
Somebody pray.
My parents taught me that for sure. I thank God for that.
Yeah.
Although when I was a kid, y'all, I know I complained a lot about the whole situation, but man, I tell you, right now I'd be like, Lord, thank you, because my parents taught me that straight up. Don't call on me, you better call on Jesus.
Call on Jesus. That's the only person that you can call that will come right away. And if you want Jesus, God, to come right away, you better stay faithful. You better stay faithful. Save, always save is a demonic teaching that comes from Satan. You gotta live a holy life. You gotta stay like faithful with God. Try so much. Nobody's perfect, but try.
Yes.
You know, you are best. Wow.
now it's from that time that my life changed. I started now serving the devil knowingly, because they were controlling my soul and my body at the same time. I had no control over my body. What people would see was a possessed person.
And you didn't know that you were possessed at that point?
I knew now. I knew that I was possessed.
Were you willing to leave this at that point?
I would love to. At that point, I would have loved to get out. But now, I was no longer in control of myself. And what people would see is me hanging out with these celebrities. And they would see me, you know, in those concerts. They would see me performing for telecom companies. They would see me, you know, do things, but they wouldn't know that I was being controlled and I was serving the enemy until when I was 18. Yeah, so from 11 to 18.
Before you tell us how you got set free, you're telling me that you were serving the enemy. What roles were you given?
Now, because the time they initiated me, I was young. I started by initiating students in schools.
Oh.
Yeah, then I started now working for some companies on promotions. Yes, we would promote products for companies that...
She said she started initiating students and her classmates.
Yeah.
That's why you always teach your children, hey, you know, you need to stay in prayer. You need to be watchful of what friends you have.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to have friends all the time, because a lot of friends will get you in trouble.
And most times they give candies. You know, I don't know if she mentioned that. I don't know if she's gonna mention that, but they give candies. They give gifts to the students. That's the easiest way to initiate them.
And please, like in America, they really have a hard time with. They have a. It's gonna be an easy access for kids here in America, and probably England as well, because you know here, you know, we do a lot of like, Mom, can they spend the night?
Yeah, stuff
Can
like
they
that.
stay over?
Yeah, stuff like
Man,
that.
parents need to stop that. A lot of stuff happen when kids are spending the night
A lot.
with one another.
A lot.
have signed with the enemy. Yeah, and then especially me, I wanted to work with telecom companies. Yeah. So now I started now partying with these secular artists, influencing the youth to go to clubs, do all those kinds of things, take people's money. Like, for example, if you went with your friends to club and there's this gentleman who's like coming to pose like he has money, us we would make sure he goes back without anything. Because first of all, I was using witchcraft. So a person maybe got some salary and then he enters club. Before he realizes he's out of club, he has no shoes, he has nothing. And he doesn't know how it happened, because by the time you go to work for a month and then you earn, you're brilliant enough to protect yourself. But all the things that happen, most of them that happen in clubs, people don't know that there are people who are using witchcraft.
Wow.
Yeah, so us The things we were doing were just to destroy people's lives, basically, and then initiate other people, especially men. It's very easy to initiate someone who is not in their right mind.
How would you do that?
Through drinks, through if a man is lasting for you, it is very easy to steal their destiny, because what the enemy wants is to steal the destinies of people. He cannot create a life or a destiny, but he steals. And then
wow, Satan comes in to kill, steal, and to destroy destinies.
Did y'all hear that? And she probably haven't even brought up like having relations, sexual relations with someone. If it's just, it can just be through alcohol and drinks at the club. It can also be through that too. Wow.
Yeah, she said even if you lost after,
Oh, I didn't hear. So, her accent is a little thick and deep.
yeah,
so it's
lost
kind
and
of hard for me.
after. You want to sleep with every woman that you see. You want to sleep with every man that you see. You don't even know who these people are. You don't know that they're taking your destiny.
Wow, I didn't even hear her say lust. Now
That's
I remember
crazy.
she was saying something about lust. Yeah, I'm glad we brought that up. Yeah, y'all hear that?
Taking destinies.
Taking destinies, y'all.
And that's why you see a lot of people, they're going for prayers, deliverance. Nothing is happening.
when a person works like a slave, you work so hard, and then another person comes at your place of work, that person is promoted. But you're working, and it's like nobody realizes.
Recognizes your effort.
Yeah, so many things, breaking families, because you would not interact with us and go back home in your right mind. You start now looking at your wife differently.
This is a big point right here. A lot of marriages has broke unknowingly to them. But if only one spouse will just tell the truth where he went or where she went, it will be a help. That's why if you are committed in any relationship, be faithful. Because demons can get hold of you in a second and destroy everything.
Yeah.
And you can't explain why you do.
You can't explain why. You feel like now you want another kind of life. You don't want a settled life. You feel like settled life is boring. Yeah, so we would do so much, causing accidents. In fact, even in that documentary, I was showing people places where we would cause accidents.
Were you part of it?
Yeah, because now I knew what I was doing fully. So when my parents would take me to church, and whenever I would go to church and I feel like I have been drained, I don't have power anymore to serve in the kingdom of darkness, I had to do a sacrifice. And that sacrifice, I would just feel annoyed until when I see blood coming out of somebody. So now I would go and cause accidents. And some of them I would cause when my parents are seeing, but they wouldn't know that I was responsible. They would just say, we survived an accident.
Oh, so you would cause an accident in a car?
Not in a car. We would be just walking, and I just stand in a place, and they are calling me. It's like I'm not there.
Responding.
Yes, I'm not responding. You know, like you're in a trance. And then before they know, an accident. Yeah, and then they come and hold me. They think I'm maybe shocked because of what I have seen. But I know very well what I have been doing, because whenever I would see the blood coming out of the person, the spirits that were controlling my life would get empowered. Then I would be able to do whatever I've been assigned to do. Because
is this not making sense? Is this not making sense when this elite, Illuminatis, pastors, when they cause these tragedies, you see more activation in them. You see them performing all these signs and wonders that the Bible revealed in the book of Revelations, that they will do powerful signs and wonders, because a lot of them are giving the blood are coming out, and the spirit that they are serving, the demon that they are serving, are really happy with seeing those blood.
now, it's like I was walking on a remote.
So how was your mom relating with you this time when you're actually just doing things in the spiritual realm?
From the time I got initiated, my friendship with my mom cut off. We just became friends after my deliverance.
Okay.
Yeah, and it took time for the friendship to be cemented again.
So it's safe to say you are a rebellious daughter at that point?
Yes, I was prodigal.
Wow. So you're saying whenever you would go to church with your parents, you would feel drained. Is there a reason why that would be the case?
I hated places where they were praying, you know, places where they were talking about God and condemning the enemy, and yeah.
So you're saying prayer is important,
yes,
especially if you have to protect yourself against the dark forces.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's very important. Yeah.
One thing that's very interesting about this is because you're revealing secrets of the enemy, which makes us at an advantage, because then we would know exactly what to do. Yes. Yeah. Wow. Well, that wraps up the part one of this story. When we
wow. Wow, we said wow at the same time.
Oh goodness, that was great.
That was great. Please share this video.
Yes.
You don't know whom you are going to bless with this. A lot of things that are going on in this world. God is helping a lot of people to see this. You might have known about all this. Personally, I do. Coming from Africa, I know a lot of things. Nothing new, everything that she said. But there is a lot of people that still need to know.
Yeah, so I have to bring up the ending part of what she said, of how she was like, she kind of felt irritated being in the church,
prayer area,
during prayer, and anybody condemning Satan, you know, she didn't like it. And wow, y'all, we need to understand that witches, they come into the church. They come into the church, y'all. So the pastors and the pastor wives and the deacons and the apostles, they all need to stay in prayer, because Satan is always in there. And you see how they get frustrated, and you're like, well, you know what? I want blood now. I need somebody to be destroyed so I can make these demons happy, so they can be happy. Wow, that's wild.
This is deep.
That's deep. Yeah, it's great.
We love you guys. Remember, keep on praying, keep on believing. God love you. Be faithful. Bye, y'all.
Bye.